to Creative Living, where we help you live your most creative life. I'm Jane Klaus. Welcome to 2021. Now, this is normally the time of year where we all make resolutions to get healthier. So today, we're talking about wellness. But before we get you on the healthy track, let's see what we've got coming up on the show. See why yoga is one of the best ways to get on the road to wellness. A trip to Oklahoma Contemporary to see their new facility. And we cozy up with a hearty bowl of stew with Midwestern Meats. All that and more on this episode of Creative Living. In the new year, many of us are striving for a sense of wellness in our lives. So our next guest is the perfect person to help us on that journey. Elizabeth O'Connor Cole. She is a well-being educator. She's an author and she's the founder of Salveo Lifestyle. Hi, Elizabeth.
Hi, Jane. How are you? Happy New Year.
I'm fantastic. Thank you. Happy New Year to you. So excited to have you on the show. I think first things first, explain to us, what is the Salveo Lifestyle?
Salveo Lifestyle is something that I created about 5 years ago, and it's a well-being approach that I think encompasses the entire person. So not just diet and exercise. Instead, it's really an approach that looks at how you're connecting with yourself, with others, how you're sleeping, how you're eating, really the whole person. And so Salveo Lifestyle, it comes from the Latin word salveo, is to live in good health, to live well. I thought that was sort of all-encompassing, and it really is a lifestyle.
And the foundation of the Salveo Lifestyle are these 6 pillars of wellness. Can you tell us what they are?
Sure. Well, again, when I was starting out, I found myself really overwhelmed by so much information out there about health and wellness, and a lot of conflicting information. So I came up with 6 pillars and really thought that everything could fall into these 6 buckets. So these are hydrate, nourish, move, sleep, breathe, and love.
So Elizabeth, I love this. You have a new book called Nurture and Thrive. This is fantastic. It's such a beautiful book. I mean, I want to put it out on display, but tell us about it. What can we find inside these pages?
Oh, well, thank you for holding that up, and I'm so happy that you received it. It's right off the presses at the end of December. So I was really hoping that it could get in everyone's hands around the holidays and into the new year, when we all know everyone has a renewed focus on their health and wellness. And so I was really hoping that this would provide a really nice tool for everyone that was looking for simple steps to get started. This is not a trendy overhaul, fad diet. Instead, every page has simple tips that you can take into your life.
And as people are reading your book, and your 6 pillars are included in this book, what do you hope, what's the one thing you really want them to take away?
That it's not that complicated. Even as simple as how to drink your water in the morning. Should it be cold? Should it be room temperature? Should it be warm with lemon? And you can just sort of go, I don't even, what's the right answer? And so let's just simplify this and make it, again, just digestible little steps that we can all take. And again, I think my other big takeaway is that you're never too old, you're never too young to start working on feeling and looking your best by making simple changes to your everyday life.
We're all so busy. What's your advice for that first step, for getting started?
Yes, I would say a lot of how we can get started is to really bring an awareness to our environment, right? So setting up our environment for success and having some knowledge and awareness about when our time is really our own. So what I like to advise people, usually our time is our own first thing in the morning, before the craziness starts. So I like to really advise people to take that first hour of the day for yourself. And that can look many different ways for people. For me, it's, drinking my water, a bit of meditation, and movement. And my favorite thing to do, and again, I think anyone can do this, is to get outside first thing in the morning and go for a walk. When you get outside first thing in the morning, your eye is being exposed to that morning light, which sends a signal to your brain to shut down that melatonin, to wake up. You're outside, you're connecting with nature. You're just realizing that you're part of something greater, and you're moving your body first thing in the morning. So that's my number one tip, is to go for a walk first thing in the morning.
Elizabeth, I love it. Such great information. Thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank you for having me, Jane. It was really lovely to see you.
Absolutely. Thank you so much, Elizabeth. All right, so for more information on Elizabeth's book or her wellness tips, just head to her website. One key to wellness is the connection of your mind and body. And a good way to achieve this connection is through yoga. So we talked with yoga expert Mary Beth Marcus about the benefits of yoga.
We're a group of practitioners that basically have come together to really work with people's health. We do it through mindfulness practices like yoga, tai chi, meditation, Feldenkrais, mindfulness, MBSR, just a whole bunch of things that basically help people get back into their own sort of deep centers and self. And I think life has been just so uncomfortable these days that it's just more than ever really needed. And what yoga and Tai Chi and all the mindfulness practices really do are just bring people into a place where they get more calm, more soft, more relaxed. It basically helps you to calm your mind. And ideally, if you do yoga first or Tai Chi, the body starts moving so you open up energetically, and then the mind will start to follow the body, which brings the mind into the body. And then once it's there, it can start to release the thoughts and come into more of a centeredness inside. We call that a deep inner stillness inside. Well, you know, stress is the underlying root cause of every disease and illness. If you can connect your mind with your body, you're going to find that you're more present. And when you're more present, you'll find that the stress and every function in your body works more efficiently. From your nervous system to your cardiovascular system to your mental, emotional, spiritual parts of your being, it's really important to just get in touch with yourself.
One positive step to achieving wellness in your life is to unplug. Yes, technology may make our lives better in so many ways, but some people become obsessed with it, constantly checking their social media sites. Unplugging will give you time to spend doing something just for you, perhaps relaxing and de-stressing. Stick around, we've got more to come on Creative Living, including delicious stew ideas from Midwestern Meats and a visit to Oklahoma Contemporary for a tour of their new masterpiece, Folding Light. For a trip to Oklahoma Contemporary to see their new Folding Light facility and learn about the inspiration behind its architecture.
The building is called Folding Light because it's the result of how the skin is designed and clad on the exterior of the building. We were looking for a way to make this notion of capturing the light truly real. And the way we did that was to not have a smooth surface that would be mirror-like. We really wanted it to be not a reflective surface, but a surface that would capture and hold the light. And the way to do that was to fold the surface so that it would allow it to hold the light itself. When it's folding, it is holding the light. And as the sun moves around, the light changes. In a folded position, one surface gets a bright light, one surface gets shade. And so those experiences, those changes that go on the exterior of the building as a result of the sun moving, give it its spirit, give it its life. And early on in a sketchbook notion, I was just thinking about what do you do to encourage a building, help a building to capture this light? What do you do? And the way you do it is you try to make the surface not reflective. And so the idea, what if we folded the surface? What if, can we fold the surface and allow the sun to softly change as the sun moves past it and around it? And the folded surface allowed us to do that. We needed to build a building that really did have a spirit and a sensibility to it that would be something that you would remember. And so all of that has to be constructed. And so you have to put all of those pieces together, and the construction part of it underneath this skin is far more complex than what you see on the surface. I hope that the message that comes from people coming to the building or touring the building or seeing an exhibit or something like that is optimism. That life is a great thing, and that the arts contribute substantially to how we feel about ourselves, how we feel about our families, how we feel about where we are and the location that we are and that sort of thing. And so that optimism, that's what architecture really is a outward symbol of optimism. And I hope that those that come here are also inspired, that if they come in the morning and they see the building turning orange or pink or whatever the case might be, that they think, wow, that is so cool. And so I'm hoping that over time, people will begin to discover these little things that go on that make this building particularly special, make it fit this place, that they can share with their children and say, this is why it is what it is.
Stews and soups are such a comforting meal, especially during the colder months. So joining us to share some recipes is Rod McConnell from Midwestern Meats, better known as Mr. Sizzle. Hello, Mr. Sizzle.
Happy New Year, Jane. Great to be with you today.
It's great to have you here on the show. All right, I love stews and soups, my favorite meal of all time. Why is it such a favorite for colder months?
You know, Jane, it's a favorite because there's no rules with soups or stews. You can do what you want with them. The creativity, we all love creativity. It's at your fingertips. And Jane, it's like on a cold winter day, you ever got one of those new pair of wool thick socks? The warmth and the comfort, just like that when you're eating stews and soups on a cold day.
Mr. Sizzle, what kind of stews and soups do you have for us today?
Jane, my first one I want to show you is I have a beef stew here today. It's hard to show, but it's beautiful. Key to beef stew, thick stew, and you got to buy flavorful meat. And then second, I've got a chicken noodle soup here, Jane. Now, it's a classic. It's one of the classics, but everyone knows about it. But make it homemade, put some time into it, buy the right products, and guess what? It can still be a wow factor for your meal.
I mean, it's my favorite soup. Who doesn't like chicken noodle soup? Let me ask you this, because this is where I get stuck. As we know, I love to cook and I love my stews, Mr. Sizzle. I'm always confused about the right cut of meat. What am I looking for when I want to make a good beef stew?
Okay, Jane, I'm going to give you a few ideas here. A couple in the beginning are a little creative. A beef shank, Jane, a beef shank. Great flavor. It's got the bone in it, meat, beautiful for soup. Beautiful for anything you want to do with the stew, the soup. Now, out of most people's wheelhouse, Jane, is the oxtail. Most people won't know what to do with that, but it's simple, really the same process. It just creates unbelievable flavor. Give it a try sometime. But now, the number one advice, when you go into the butcher, don't buy their pre-cut stew meat, please. What they're giving you is top round, knuckle. They're giving you real lean meat. Here's what I want you to do, Jane. I want you to buy a chuck roast. Okay, now a chuck roast is very marbled, and there's two reasons for that, for getting that chuck roast. Number one, the flavor. With the marbling, it's beautiful flavor. And number two, isn't it great to say, hey kid, come cut this chuck roast up and get them involved in the process. It makes it fun when we're eating it. Yeah, I cut that down. That's my advice for the stew, Jane. Chuck roast.
And then a quick question too, when we're thinking about buying that piece of meat, do we buy a pound? Do we buy 2 pounds? Do we buy 4 pounds? Like if you're feeding a family of 4, what's the recommended size we buy?
You know what? If you go by per ounces, you want to do about 8 ounces per person approximately.
And one of my favorite things to do is when you make this big meal is having the leftovers. And if those leftovers don't get eaten, you put them in the freezer.
Yes, ma'am. And here's what I do. I put them in a quart container just like this. And that quart container, I got a family of 3 with a daughter at Ole Miss right now. That quart feeds us little saltine crackers. Put it in the bowl, naturally unthaw it, in the bowl, cracker, microwave. It's a good meal, Jane, and it's easy.
You're so awesome. Thank you so much for all those scrumptious ideas.
Right on, Jane. Everybody eat better.
I love it. For more information, just head over to Midwestern Meats website.
Another thing that can improve your wellness is listening to music. Now, research has indicated that music has positive effects on our mood by releasing dopamine, the feel-good chemical, and it can improve cognition and memory. So turn up your favorite tunes and enjoy. Let's see what's striking a chord next on the show. We tell you why 7 days may be the magic number to get you on a path to healthy eating and selecting the right home for your needs.
Food is at the heart of everything we do, and we know being on the path to good health means eating the right foods. Maybe you're not on that path right now, so here to help us out is registered dietitian and nutritionist Dawn Jackson Blattner. Hey, Dawn.
Hey, how are you?
So what is your advice for all of us to eat better and get on the path to start eating better?
Okay, here's the deal. I believe so strongly in this, I can't even tell you. 7-day challenges. I think they are magic. And here's why. Most of the time when someone says, I want to eat better, they do a major overhaul. They start throwing away things. They start stocking up on food they don't even know what to do with. It's all misery. It's all overwhelming. It's all restriction. It's all dieting. It's all boo. I give it a big thumbs down. Instead, thinking about 7-day challenges is where you only pick one thing. You focus on that one thing for 7 days, and guess what that creates? Momentum. And all of a sudden, you start doing more and more healthy things by just assigning yourself one 7-day challenge each week.
So a 7-day challenge sounds sort of like a small task. It's a small accomplishment. Do you recommend doing that because people would get overwhelmed otherwise?
Oh, yeah, people and me. I mean, the reason why I really know 7-day challenges work is because I am not just like a preacher, I'm a practicer of all of this stuff. And it's hard, right, to get everything so right. And so it's like, hey, 7 days I could focus on drinking 100 ounces of water. Okay, I could do that. Then the next 7 days I could focus on adding a salad to my lunch or dinner. Okay, I could do that. Then the next 7 days I can clean up my snacks, I can do that. And then all of a sudden you look back and you think, wow, I've come a long way, baby.
Let's just take it from your book, Superfood Swaps. Are there any easy swaps that we can do today to set us on the path to healthy eating?
Yeah, so I'm a big believer in swaps. As opposed to getting rid of something in your diet, like, oh, I gotta get rid of this, I gotta get rid of this. What can you add in, right? So it's like, if I had to say number one sort of thing, is look at what you love to eat and start making swaps with that. So like, I love tacos. I mean, who doesn't love tacos, right? So you think, okay, instead of getting rid of tacos, how can I make them better? So maybe it's a whole corn tortilla instead of a white flour shell. Maybe I make it a taco salad so there's more vegetables in it. Or maybe I'm using lentils instead of beef. And so it's not, such a big deal. It's not sad. It's actually a happy thing.
Give us your 3 tips on how to clean up our eating.
All right, it all goes back to the 7-day challenge. Don't do this all at once. Assign yourself 7-day challenges. The first one, more water. I mean, we all know that your life would be so much better with more water. Hydrate, hydrate, hydrate. And then once you get that for a week, think about doing a more ratio happy plate where there's more vegetables and less of the other stuff on your plate. So shifting ratios for a week. And then the final one would be to look at your sugar and white flour. You don't have to get rid of it, but cutting down instead of out, it would be literally the 3 most important, powerful things that you could do.
Dawn Jackson Blattner, you are amazing. Thank you so much for all of that great information.
Bye, thanks for having me.
You bet. For more information on Dawn, or if you have additional questions or want more information, just head to her website.
Don't go anywhere. Creative Living has much more coming up. We talk with Manuel Builders about selecting the right home. home is on your list this year, then one builder in Louisiana has advice on how to select the right home for your needs.
I think what makes Manuel Builders different than the rest is the care that we have for our customers. We really approach each home and each client with a mindset of how do we make this a great experience for them. Everybody's different, so we want to look at their unique needs and make sure that we can find a home that fits for them.
What we like to do in our homes when we speculate is make sure it doesn't seem cookie cutter. We want to add specialty features where we can and make it feel as customized as possible. And then you still have the opportunity to add certain amenities that you would like to see in your.
Most of our plans are open plans where you're gonna have spaces from the living room to the kitchen all open so you can entertain, have your guests over, still cook, watch the football game, do all that good stuff all within one space.
I love the attention to detail that they put into this. It's laid out perfectly. It's absolutely beautiful. The decor that they picked is just wonderful. I love the beams that they have. If you walk into that extra bedroom, they have the vaulted ceilings with the beams. It's just absolutely beautiful.
I think the home is gorgeous, and the thing I love, it's a home built for entertaining inside and out. But when you go outside, I think that's where the magic is. They have a fireplace on the porch. I haven't seen that built into it. An outdoor kitchen, so you can literally entertain outside, inside. This would be party central. This would be the place to host those family get-togethers.
Thanks so much for joining us on Creative Living. Have a happy new year. I'm Jane Klaus. I'll see you next time.